What's up, y'all? We're back to episode 4 of Cabe and Friends. Again, this is like the 4th different place I've filmed. I'm at my friend Ryan Skeeters' house. He's gonna come up later, and we have a topic about the evolution of the game, and then me and him are gonna give our picks. Last week I started off 9-1. That was pretty awesome, but this week we're going to have this, and this is going to be the repeating pattern for the next couple, or until the season ends, at least college football season ends. I'm going to give an intro, give a recap of college football last week, short, and then NFL recap, and then I'm going to have a new topic every week that I'm going to come up with, and some of my team will. I have some influence from some guys. And if you got anything, shoot, send me a text or whatever, or comment something below of what you think I should talk about next week, as like that bridge gap. And then finally, to cap it off, when I do our week 3 predictions. Some good games this week. I'm excited. But let's just kick it off with college football. So there's some interesting games. Some teams that are supposed to be really good this year are not playing well. Starting off with number 3 Oklahoma. I don't know how the hell they're number 3. I don't think Spencer Rattler's that good. I think that Oklahoma defense is pretty good. Shout out to Keyshawn. Shout out to Keyshawn, and I think they have a Ravenwood guy on that team. So shout out to the Nashville boys out in Norman. But that defense is really good, really raw, and I don't believe in that offense. I don't think Spencer Rattler, ever since he started playing, was that good. He's going to get drafted in the first round just because it's just a pattern. People will ignore the signs, and then he'll be a bust in the NFL. Watch it in 5 years when he's out of the league. But they barely beat Nebraska, a.k.a. Jackson Hanna, linebacker, number 10, Nebraska. Shout out to him. He's an NBA boy. They barely beat Nebraska 23-16. Sloppy performance. Nebraska, if they won, I would not be surprised. I think Oklahoma's a joke. They were so good for Baker. They were producing great quarterbacks, and I think this is a slip in the road, and some recruit's going to come in, and he's going to ball out. I think this is 2 years, this year and next year, are going to be the 2 years that Oklahoma is not going to play that well. I think they're overhyped. But forget that. The next game is a Virginia Tech team which actually beat North Carolina, Ty Chandler's North Carolina, who I'll talk about that in a second. But West Virginia just outperformed Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech had the opportunity to win, and they couldn't. They couldn't punch it. They couldn't punch the ticket. But it was a great game. West Virginia just came up on top. Still think Virginia Tech's a great team, and I'm not sure if they're ranked or not. Are they still ranked? Not sure. Well, I think Virginia Tech's still a great team, but West Virginia just played better. Next game, pitiful, terrible. Clemson is terrible. Shout out to 2 more NBA boys, Jake and Ty. But I don't. Their offense is just not very good. Their defense, they have not allowed a touchdown all season because they threw a pick 6. DJ threw a pick 6 against Georgia. They played like some scrub team and put up like 60 expectedly, and then they put up 14 against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech scored 8 points, but it's Georgia Tech. you need to blow out Georgia Tech if you're Clemson. I don't. They just look sloppy. On their defense is really good. They're gonna hold up all season, but especially in that ACC, that's terrible. Miami lost to Michigan State, and they blew them out. They blew out it was 42-28, and Michigan State just blew out Miami. Miami looked terrible, but there's really no one in the ACC, and I think just from these 3 weeks, Clemson is not going to get into the playoffs. That may be like a hot take, but honestly, it really isn't, because you beat Georgia Tech by 6 points. Set and done. I mean, come on. Next game. This one, I know some people that were out there at the game. And shout out to Jack Edwards, who goes to Mississippi State. But they really messed this one up. Even they came up after the game. It's kind of like flashbacks to the Saints a couple years ago against the Rams when they had that terrible call, the no call, as I like to call it, where it was a punt, and then Memphis punted it. No, I'm sorry, Mississippi State punted it, and the dude downed it, and then they didn't blow the whistle for some reason, and then the Memphis dude just ran it back all the way for a touchdown, and also they had 2 number 4s on the field at the same time. That also should have been a penalty. It was terrible, and that's the reason they should have an asterisk. Memphis is 3-0, but they should have an asterisk by that. That's some BS. Mississippi State is 2-1, and they should have an asterisk. They should be 3-0. It's ridiculous. But ultimately, the score sheet says Memphis won 31-28. It was some BS, but it is what it is. Next, so this was obviously most of you guys are from the South, but some West Coast action. Pac-12 just flat out sucks. I mean, Oregon's good. UCLA's good, which I'll talk about them later. But besides that, it's all garbage. And BYU has taken advantage of that. They are 3-0 against Pac-12 opponents. They're independent, so they're not in a conference, so they just play anyone. And they beat Arizona State, who was ranked 19th at the time. And BYU's kind of shocking the world because everyone thought they were going to fall off after Zach Wilson left. But Arizona State's really showed them. They just kind of shocked the world, and they showed Arizona State who's boss, 27-17. Another Pac-12 game. This game was, oh my goodness, this might have been the game of the week. Besides Alabama, but Fresno State upset UCLA 40-37. Their quarterback, I don't remember, Hardley or something, Hardley is the last name. Dude he's a dog. I mean, man, dude got popped when they scored. They scored a touchdown to make it 30. It was 33-30. Scored a touchdown, got popped. He just teared his hip flexor or hurt something really bad, so he couldn't even stand up. And then UCLA, Thompson, he can win the Heisman. That dude is cold, and he just drove UCLA down like that. Scored touchdown. That dog, Fresno State's quarterback, just came back and led the drive all the way down the field, and threw a dot to the corner, front corner, and just scored, beat UCLA, and shocked the world. And he couldn't even stand up to celebrate. He was just praising God. It was honestly, I don't know how he pulled it off, but that was damn impressive. And UCLA's one of 2 teams that is really good in the Pac-12. Next game. The whiteout, man, that is easily one of the coolest traditions in college football, and it definitely played a factor. I think Bo Nix is overrated by a long shot. I don't think he's that good. I think he's like a high school quarterback, but he's still solid. I mean, he beat Oregon a couple years ago. But Penn State showed Auburn who's boss, and now all the Penn State fans like Nikki Bennett are just rabbing their mouths and, oh, we want Bama. Like, you get freaking toasted by Bama. You get like 60 bomb by them. Like, come on, just shut up. But Penn State beats Auburn. In the whiteout, definitely played a factor. Obviously, whiteout is incredible. And 28-20. And a good game, too. It was really good. I watched that whole thing. Finally, for the game of the week, Alabama, Florida. Marcel Reed was at this game, and he said he loved Florida. The environment was cool. And Florida, Alabama's beatable. I mean, I'm an Alabama fan, but I'm not like a diehard. I just grew up an Alabama fan because of my dad. But some diehard Alabama fans said, "Oh, Alabama's unbeatable." That's just straight cap. Alabama's definitely beatable, and Florida put up a fight with them, and they brought it out down to the end where they just missed that 2-point conversion. This game was incredible. It wasn't really back and forth. Alabama always had the lead, but it was just a great game, and Marcel said he really liked Florida, and I really hope he goes there personally, because he would fit right in that Dan Mullen offense. But Alabama's still on top, and Alabama won in the swamp, 31-29. That's the end of college football. So now we are on to the NFL, which on Ryan Skeeters has this nice little monitor and some sick-ass shit. But so as I was saying, I was 9-1. Like, I got all the noon games right except for the Saints. I got Thursday night right. So if you need any betting advice, let me know. But Washington and the Giants, Daniel Jones looked really good, surprising. I don't think he's going to keep it up, but he looked really good. Heineke looked awesome. Like, Heineken, the beer company, needs to call his agent up right now and be like, we need to make an ad right now because dude's on fire. Almost beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. That was awesome. But Washington came up on top already, 1-0. 49ers, Eagles, did not watch this game, to be honest. Ayuk is trash. I drafted him in, like, the 4th round. It's just, like, come on, bro. Like, do better. But 49ers won 17-11. Eagles did look good. They didn't throw any picks. They just didn't produce. But my Eagles friend, Nikki, who also likes Penn State, he said it was one of the best Eagles losses he's ever watched because they didn't really make any mistakes. It's just kind of like a low-tempo game. So that's a good sign for Eagles fans. This game, I was also right. No one thought that this was gonna happen, but the Raiders are legit, and they just toasted. Derek Carr leads the league in passing yards, and he toasted the Steelers. Steelers are overrated. That game against the Bills was a fluke. Derek Carr's the real deal. He has no receivers. Imagine if he had good receivers. It's kind of like Matthew Stafford in Detroit. He's going to be the next one. And John Gruden's really good, too. And the Raiders pulled off that really good game against the Ravens, like I talked about last week. But Steelers overrated. They're not going to do anything. Mika, your Steelers are terrible, to be honest. And the Raiders are legit. So all the West teams are good. Next, Cleveland Browns. This was nerve-wracking at first, but then we pulled away. The Texans, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what the deal is with the Texans. I thought they were going to be terrible. I knew Brandon Cooks was literally the only good player on the team, but they somehow are playing okay. They put up 21 points against the Browns. I don't think the Browns played particularly well, but they still came out with the win, and that was my lock of the week, and I was right. I picked them in a Survivor. And yeah, nothing much to say. Tyrod Taylor did get hurt, so David Mills is the Stanford rookie is going to play on Thursday night, which I'll talk about when Skeeters comes in. Broncos, Jags. I also said this was a lock. Broncos are also legit. Another West team. I think everyone in the AFC West is very, very, very good. I love all those teams, except I don't like the Chiefs, but I'm a big fan of the Raiders. Shout out to Charlie Graves and Derek Carr and Nathan Peterman, two of his favorite players. Broncos, shout out to Peyton Manning, I guess. I don't know. But Teddy Bridgewater played really well. Defense playing solid. Jags are overrated. Well, I mean, they're not even rated. I mean, they're kind of just bad. I don't think, like I said, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the bust out of this class. Yeah, Broncos 23-13. Broncos look to keep rolling. This game made me sad. Saints lost in a pretty bad fashion against the Panthers. Panthers also, I feel like, are legit. Sam Darnold finally gets the coach that he needs. He had Adam Gase for so long. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's such a bust." And I'm like, watch what he's gonna do in Carolina. He's gonna play really well. And I was right. I mean, Panthers are 2-0, and granted, the Saints did have 8 coaches out and basically half their starting roster out. Like, we're starting Marquez Callaway. I know we beat the hell out of the Packers, but like, it's not a fluke. I mean, it may be a fluke, but it's not like we're gonna lose a game or two along the road, so I'm not too worried about it. Bills Dolphins, just like I said, Bills were gonna blow them out 35-0. Tua got hurt, unfortunate. Jacoby Brissett came in, did nothing. Myles Gaskin, if you traded for him in fantasy, looking at you, Otis, you're an idiot. Because you gave up too much for him. You gave up Cooper Kupp for Myles Gaskin. Like, what the hell are you doing? Bills just ran all over them. Yeah, I had the Bills defense. They got me 20 points. So, thank you, Bills. They're always bullying the Dolphins. Next game, this game I watched. It was very awesome. Rams still my Super Bowl winners. That was one hell of a game. They beat William Cook's Colts, and Matthew Stafford put up a good performance. Cooper Kupp played amazing. Henderson got hurt, but I think he should be back for next week. Sonny Michel had some touches at the end, so that's some good signs. But Rams, actually in a close one, 27-24. I think we got 2 more noon games. Patriots, Jets. Patriots put up 25. Jets put up 6. Zach Wilson had the worst game of his career, and it will be the worst game of his long career. 4 interceptions. I mean, he's a rookie. Can't fault him too much against Bill Belichick in his second game. I mean, but when you throw 4 picks, you throw 4 picks. It's not okay. But it's the Patriots. No matter who they have, Bill Belichick always has his pot and, magic sauce or whatever. Yeah, Jets did not play well. Jets play Broncos next week. Lock the Broncos or the Panthers. I'm locking the Panthers personally. Bears, Bengals, I was right. Justin Fields didn't come in the game. Played terrible, but he didn't even throw a touchdown pass. So that was, but I called it. I said he was going to go in. They won a squeaker. Bengals rallied back at the end, 20-17. Not much to say about this game besides Justin Fields. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Just toasted the Falcons. Matt Ryan threw 2 pick sixes, I think. And they just clobbered the Falcons, 48-25. Yeah, that was just a clobberation. Next, this was a nail biter. I tried to watch some of this game. Gus Johnson was commentating this, so shout out to him. But Cardinals squeaker, actually, because they beat the hell out of the Titans week 1. And it was just it's kind of surprising the Vikings kept in it since they lost to the Bengals. 34-33, Vikings missed a game-winning field goal. Surprising. I was wrong about this. This game is the first game I got wrong, I think. So I missed the Saints, and I missed this game. Cowboys, Chargers. I had the Chargers winning. I think the Chargers are really good, but the Cowboys played really well against the Buccaneers, so I should have played that in a factor. Justin Herbert didn't do much. It was kind of a low-scoring game, 20-17. I think the Cowboys won a game-winning field goal, so good ending. But watch the Chargers bounce back and beat the Chiefs. Watch it happen. Next, you guys are going to love this, and you've been waiting for me to talk about this. I picked the Seahawks last week to beat the Titans, and I'm so glad I was wrong because, wow, we got burned and we got cheated out. Julio Jones scored that touchdown. We got a safety, didn't get called either, and the Titans rallied back. O-line still sucks, I believe. Secondary needs to improve drastically, but Julio played really good. Derek, oh my God. He played like Derrick Henry should. 50 fantasy points, multiple touchdowns, 200 and something. He had a lot of yards, 200-something yards. And the Titans won in overtime, 33-30 with a new kicker, Randy Bullock, who actually Ryan Tannehill held for Randy Bullock in college because they both went to A&M. I'll probably put a picture up that because that's pretty cool. Sunday Night Football, this is a shocker. Hate both these teams. Hate the Ravens so much. Ravens somehow win. I love Lamar in college. I think he's so cool. Hate him in the NFL. Just kind of like the opposite of Baker Mayfield. Hated Baker. I hated Baker in college. Love him in the NFL. But Ravens surprised everyone, and they won 34-35. And I picked the Chiefs in that one too. And then Packers-Lions. Lions were winning at half, and then Packers just kind of won in the second half. And it was 35-17. Yeah, not much to say. Packers just came out and won. Alrighty. So that's done. That took a lot longer than I expected. I kind of went in depth with a lot of things, but I was 12-4, yeah, I didn't expect that to be that long. But we're gonna move into a topic that we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna talk about how the game has changed, and quarterbacks they're changing. So it's Ryan Skeeters. You want to pull up that chair? That's all right. So welcome. Introduce yourself.
I'm Ryan Skeeters,
Fellow manager, true. So we actually discussed this earlier today, and I was having trouble figuring out what topic we should talk about, and Amika gave me an idea of how the quarterbacks are changing, like how Big Ben just looks terrible, and he's getting hurt, and he's just looking old and just not looking the same he is. And how all these quarterbacks, you don't really see any passing quarterbacks anymore getting drafted. I can't remember the last quarterback that was just not a running quarterback that wasn't in a terrible quarterback class. Like you could say Daniel Jones, but he also ran that pretty fast against, who was it? I don't remember, but he ran and tripped over his own feet. But the quarterback is changing. I can't remember the last quarterback that got drafted. That was just a pocket passer. But they all scramble now, and the reason is for that is the mobile quarterbacks are becoming more relevant because the game is moving faster. You see bigger hits. That's why they have to implement all these rules. That's why all these roughing the passer rules are getting more necessary because the game's moving faster. People are more likely to get hurt. And the quarterbacks like Matt Ryan, who threw 2 pick sixes, they can't do that anymore. They're just fading out. Like Drew Brees retired, Phillip Rivers retired, and those guys, those type of quarterbacks aren't going to come back. It's going to be more like Kyler Murray and guys like that. And just because the game's getting faster, what's your take on that?
I think Kyler, obviously very dominant first 2 weeks, even more dominant in fantasy. And Lamar Jackson right now, either third or fourth in total rushing yards as a quarterback. I think that's huge and really shows kind of how the game's changing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Patrick Mahomes even runs the ball, and he has God-given ability. Like, oh my goodness. But we're kind of like just winging this topic because it's like a small topic you could give a 30-second answer to, but it's just kind of odd. Just life's flashing before our eyes. I have like 6 Drew Brees jerseys at home, and he's my favorite quarterback, and I would say idol, I guess. And those guys are fading out, and it's sad to see that. But times are changing. Tom Brady is left. Ben Roethlisberger is going to retire in the next year or two. These guys are just fading out, and they're just gonna. It's kind of like, here's a good example. So if all of you guys have definitely seen Cars 3, or hopefully they have. But you know how Lightning McQueen wins all these races, and then what's that guy's name? The dude that overtook him.
I have no clue.
Anyways, whatever that guy's name, I know you can picture him. I'll probably pull up a picture. I don't know, but it just shows that and that all these automated turbo cars are overtaking Lightning McQueen, and Lightning McQueen wins at the end. And that's kind of like how Tom Brady's like Lightning McQueen, and how he's one of the last great quarterbacks. Him, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a can of an arm, so that's kind of an exception. Ben Roethlisberger obviously is not playing well. Tannehill kind of, Derek Carr, but those guys can run. Tannehill used to play wide receiver at A&M. Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins. Some of these guys, those guys will roll over in 10 years in this game. It'll all be Lamar Jackson's, and even Josh Allen has legs. That Cars and Tom Brady compare. I feel like that's a really good comparison. I just came up with that on the top of my head. Do you have something to compare it to? The game's just changing. The game's going faster. Running backs becoming less important. Because quarterbacks can run. So yes, Derrick Henry. No quarterback's gonna be built like Derrick Henry, but it's just kind of
Yeah, I've agreed with everything you said. I think it's just kind of goes to show how the game's changing, and I think less so the running back role is getting less, but I think it's going to be a seriously different game in a couple of years.
And I would agree so too. But on the running back standpoint, yes, obviously running backs are very, very important. But look at the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he is a running back, but and screw him. But seriously, look, their running backs, they're doing fine. They beat the best quarterback in football, and just with their three best running back, three running backs out for the season just because Lamar can run with his legs. And yes, you do need to be able to launch the ball and have open receivers, but that's like you see in college, you don't see really any pocket passers. Or you do see a lot of pocket passers, but you see less of them. Like Alabama used to have all these white quarterbacks like A.J. Maharon, Jake Coker, Greg McElroy. You see all those guys, and then now they have Tua, Bryce Young. I mean, Mac Jones is kind of like them, but that's just an exception. And so the game is going to evolve where it's guys like Kyler Murray and Lamar who are very fast and can just beat you off the edge and can also launch the ball. But you're also going to have guys that are like Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson who can also run the ball but are more of passers than runners. And then very, very few are going to be like Aaron Rodgers, where he can run the ball. The Aaron Rodgers is, again, like I said earlier, is an exception. But like you're gonna have Josh Allen's and Derek Carr's, very little of them who can. They're gonna be pocket passers, but they're gonna run if they need to. So you're not gonna see any guys like Big Ben anymore. Like those guys, the defenders are getting faster, games getting faster. That's really. I mean, I keep talking in circles, but I mean, really, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I think that's really all there is to say. The game's changing, and mobile quarterbacks are kind of behind that.
Yeah, and defenders are getting faster. The game's just lightning fast, and that's why they have to implement those penalties. And speaking of penalties, I'm going to talk about this for like a split second, but what the hell is this taunting shit? Honestly, like it's terrible. I mean, let the boys play for real. Cause it's just embarrassing. Like NFL's like, soft or whatever. But like, come on. It's just terrible. Like, you make a big hit and you go like that, and then you get flagged for it. It's ridiculous. But I just want to point that out. All right. Well, I think we had a good talk there. I think we're going to have some better topics. We kind of like made up with that on the fly, and I didn't get to let him speak that much, but it's all right. He's going to speak here a lot. But this time is the point that I think everyone's been waiting for, and that's the Week 3 predictions. And this is personally my favorite part, unless we have a really good topic. And that would be the record Week 3 predictions. And I'm going to start off with tomorrow's game, which actually I won't be watching because I'll be watching the Lipscomb-Oakland game, like multiple D1 athletes in that game. Isaiah Horton committed to Miami. Jordan James committed to Georgia, running back. I'm excited for that game. I'm going to be definitely watching that. But Panthers-Texans. Texans don't have Tyrod. They have David Mills in his first start. Hard lock on the Panthers. They're going to crush the Texans. They're gonna beat the hell out of them. Sam Darnold's gonna put up a bunch of yards. Start Robbie Anderson this week. DJ Moore too. Christian McCaffrey. They're just gonna light him up. So I have Panthers.
Yeah, I have Panthers too on this one. I think the Panthers team is very talented. Very solid wide receiver core. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey. And Sam Darnold, I think, is going to have a really big year.
I do too. And, Sam Darnold getting out of Adam Gase's hell is really good. Next, this is another lock. If this would be another survivor pick. Cardinals, Jags. Trevor Lawrence is not it. Unless he turns it around, and I may be wrong, but I think he's going to be bust out of this class. Cardinals look really good. They put up points, but they couldn't really stop the Vikings, oddly enough, but they still beat them. Cardinals hammering them against the Jags. they're going to put up a ton of points. Kyler Murray's going to throw some magic. They just signed DJ Hayden, I think. No, Rashard Melvin. They just signed Rashard Melvin, and he's going to, start for them because C.J. Henderson is out. So, start Cardinals receivers in fantasy, maybe even Chase Edmonds. They're going to blow the Jags out of the water.
I've also got the Cardinals on this one. I think as a Titans fan, got to put some respect on the Cardinals' name after week 1.
For real.
Definitely one of the most underrated teams right now. Kyler Murray going to work his magic to DeAndre Hopkins. And Jags just won't be able to keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be my... This is a tough, very, very tough pick. I've been mulling over this all day long. Chargers, Chiefs. Both coming off losses. It's really tough because it can go. It's literally a damn coin flip. Because the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I mean, they're really good. But I have faith in the Chargers. Austin Eckler's really good. Keenan Allen's really good. Mike Williams is really good. That defense, Derwin James, solid. Man, screw it. I'm just going to go on a limb and say Chargers because, why not? I think the Chiefs aren't as good as they seem. They're just kind of slowly going on a decline. I have them losing first or second round in the playoffs, and they're going to split with every single team in the AFC West because the AFC West is really good. So I'm going to go on a limb and say Chargers. This game is surprisingly at noon. I would think it would kind of be prime time, but, whatever. I have Chargers. Surprisingly, but Chargers.
I'm actually going to go with the Chiefs on this one. So I think, obviously, both coming off losses, but I think the Chiefs are ready to bounce back. Obviously, offense is incredible.
True.
And the Chargers, also, I'm very high on the Chargers, so I think it's going to be a really close game, but I'm coming out with the Chiefs.
Do you think that like what I said, do you think the Chargers will beat the Chiefs at some point in the season, or the Raiders or the Broncos will beat the Chiefs?
I think the Chargers will split with the Chiefs. And then, as far as the other two...
Time will tell.
I think it's going to be close. I think the Chiefs, depending on their next couple games, could kind of determine the entire outcome of the season.
I definitely agree. And I'm just going out on a limb. I made a bold pick last week, and that was the Raiders. And this is my bold pick this week. I honestly, in my heart, I think the Chiefs are going to win, but screw it. I'm going to go with Chargers. But, yeah. Browns, Bears. So, this another lock. Justin Fields did not look good in his last game. I think he's going to be really good, and he is 10-0 in the state of Ohio, and they play this in Cleveland. But he's about to be 10-1 because the Browns look really good. Myles Garrett looks like a beast. Nick Chubb doing Nick Chubb things. OBJ is back. Jarvis Landry's out. Hollywood Higgins filling that role like he filled in for OBJ. Solid, all tight ends, really good. Austin Hooper, Kareem Hunt, just all around solid. Danny Montgomery's gonna have an okay day. He's kind of play like he did against the Rams, because that Browns D line, Clowney, Garrett is really good. And I have the Browns in 10+. I have them winning by 10+, maybe even 14. How about you?
I also think the Browns are a deadlock on this one because, the Browns with the best running back duo in the league.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the Bears starting Justin Fields. I think it's the best decision.
Well, Andy Dalton's hurt.
Andy Dalton's out either way. But I think I would start Fields either way over Dalton.
True, I would too.
But I think he's just inexperienced and the Browns will come out on top.
Absolutely. Next game, I'm going to be tuning in. So there's a couple noon games I'm going to be tuning into. The Browns game. This game, oh my God. There's so many good noon games. Oh, this is awesome. Bills and the Redskins, or Washington football team. Bills going to come up on top. I mean, you saw how dominant they were against the Dolphins. I will say that the Washington's defense is really good, but they haven't been performing of late. And they lost to the Chargers in a close one week 1, and then they beat the Giants and a nail biter. But the Bills are back. Josh Allen's gonna play really well. Those receivers are gonna play really well. The defense is gonna play really well. It's gonna be close, but I have Bills up on top. It's gonna be a fun game to watch. I'm excited to watch the highlights too, because it's gonna be a fun one. Taylor Heineke is playing his second game, so
I'm going to go with the unexpected pick of Washington with this one. I think Washington's defense is really what's going to pull him out, and I'm really high on Taylor Heineke. I think after last year's playoff performance and last week's performance, I think he has the potential to be a solid starting QB in the NFL. Bills, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, very deadly combination. And it's going to be close either way, but I'm taking Washington.
Alrighty, next game you guys have all been waiting for. It's the Titans and the Colts. The Titans have been hinting at the Oilers uniforms this week, which we can use the Oilers uniforms, but we can't use the Oilers helmet, so it's kind of odd that we're like hinting that, because I feel like the Oilers jersey with the dark blue helmet would look kind of weird. But it's in Nashville at noon. I'm actually going to let you go first because you're the massive Titans fan. I mean, he has a Julio jersey on. He got it right after he got traded. But I'm going to let you give – and go in depth, too. Yeah.
So
Here, take it.
I'm taking the Titans on this one, all right? I know, big surprise, biased Titans fan. But still, taking the Titans on this one. I really think Derrick Henry's back in his best running back in the NFL form. That's right. He's better than CMC. And A.J. Brown, Julio, arguably best receiver duo in the league.
I think so. I think so.
Tannehill, he's got to perform, I think. Colts, I think, will be a split between the two games that we play with them this season. Colts, I mean, wide receivers, Michael Pittman, I guess. And then Wentz is out, which is huge for the Titans, I think.
Jacob Eason starting.
Yeah, Eason.
First career start.
Jacob Eason, huge start for him. And I was kind of watching the preseason battle between him and Sam Ehlinger, and I personally thought that Sam Ehlinger would win the second string job.
I agree.
But Jacob Eason out on top, and I think he's gonna have to really show out against the Titans in order for the Colts to pull out a win. But I'm sticking with the Titans on this one.
What's your score prediction?
17-35.
35. Wow, big win. Big win. All right, I like it. I kind of agree with everything he says. I think it's going to be a little tighter. I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout. I believe in the Colts. It's going to be a huge matchup. Ryan Skeeters versus William Cook. We're going to have some, or William Cook versus the world, essentially. And we're going to have some talks about that after the game on Monday. But I would agree with everything he says. Jacob Eason, I would pick Ehlinger over Eason, but Ehlinger's hurt. The Colts are going to start off 0-3, but don't let that deter you. I believe that the Colts are a good team. He disagrees. He doesn't. Do you think the Colts can make the playoffs?
I bet they make the playoffs, but they're going to be 7th seed.
Interesting. I have them getting 5 seed. I think. I don't know. Time will tell. But yeah, Titans on top. Next game. This is my game. This game is gonna be so awesome. I wish. God, like, why can't Drew Brees just stay another year? He plays Aaron Rodgers, then he plays. Tom Brady's not with the Patriots anymore, so it's kind of like, but it just brings back. It's just kind of sad how you see Jameis Winston versus Aaron Rodgers, and then Mac Jones versus Jameis Winston, and 2 games where Hall of Fame quarterbacks are playing, and we're always excited to see that because it was always on Sunday night or Thursday night to kick off the season. Brings a tear to my eye, but the Patriots are actually favored by 3 points, and surprisingly, but I have the Saints all the way. Maybe biased. I think last game was a fluke. Saints. It's going to be kind of close, but we're going to have all our coaches back. James is going to bounce back, play really well. Stephon Gilmore got nothing on our receivers. I'm really excited to see this game. I really hope it's on TV. If it's not, I'm going to be watching that over the Titans game. I'm going to have both of them next to each other. I think Mac Jones is very good. I really, really do. And I think he's going to succeed in the NFL. But this game is in Foxborough. Thank God it's not October or November. But I think the Saints, everyone's counting out the Saints, and I think they're really good. What's your take on it? Saints win by 6.
I think this is one of the more interesting games of the week. Because Saints, obviously, very different performances from Jameis Winston between weeks 1 and 2.
True.
So that inconsistency hopefully doesn't play a factor for the rest of the season, because that would be bad. Very bad for the Saints. Patriots, Mac Jones, I believe, is the most NFL-ready QB out of the draft, and I think he'll be the most successful out of any from the 2021 draft.
Would agree.
I'm going to have to go with the Patriots on this one. I think it's going to be a tough game for Jameis Winston bouncing back from that loss. I just think Jameis Winston's going to really struggle against the Patriots this week, which will lead to the Patriots winning.
Interesting. Would strongly disagree because I can't pick against my own team, which I mean Titans are my team too, but I picked against them last week. But I mean, after you saw week 1, yeah, you understand. Mm-hmm. But this game's gonna be a snooze fest. Like, who the hell is gonna be watching this next game? Falcons at the Giants. Like, for real, it's like Matt Ryan threw 2 pick sixes. There's like this game every week. Last week it was. I don't know. It already slipped my mind. I talked about it 10 minutes ago. Terrible game. Not gonna watch it. Falcons, Giants. I'm gonna have to go with Giants. I think Kyle Pitts. I was so high on him, but he really hasn't done anything. Same with Calvin Ridley. That defense is terrible. The Giants at least showed hope last week against the Redskins, but nothing much to say. Daniel Jones throws 2 touchdowns. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree on this one. Nobody's watching this, and if you are, what are you doing?
For real, like the Saints are on, the Bills are on, the Titans are on, the Browns are on. Like, come on.
Giants, no way. Saquon's not the answer. Daniel Jones has had a strong game against Washington last week, I will admit. But he's not the answer either. Kadarius Toney, where has he been? I don't know. Falcons, Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley. I got to take them just because the potential of their offense, even though they haven't really lived up to it so far.
True. I like that pick. Kadarius Toney is terrible. Thought it was a terrible pick when I was at the draft, and it looks like a terrible pick now. He does not fit in that offense whatsoever. Next game, another game I will not be watching because I'm not a fan of either team. But that would be the Steelers. Hate them. And Will Maserati's Steelers, or Amika Steelers, versus Landon Clements' Bengals. And I think that, this is a tough game. Because Who did the Bengals play last week? Bengals played the Bears, and they kept it close. And then the Bengals beat the Vikings the week before. Steelers played the Raiders. They did not play well. This is another coin flip. Shoot. I just got to go with Steelers. I mean, I hate them, but I guess they got more firepower. I don't think Jamar Chase was the answer. Their O-line, Bengals O-line sucks. Should pick Penei Sewell 10 out of 10 times, but they didn't. It's kind of like what the Jags did. They just picked him as college teammate when they should have filled out O-line. So I guess I got Steelers. Another game I won't be watching.
Yeah, this one's another toss-up. I think going back to the O-line situation, you can't throw it to Jamar Chase if you don't have time to. I think Jamar Chase and the Joe Burrow connection is what will win the game if they do win it. But I'm still going to stick with the Steelers on this one because I think Chase Claypool going to have a week. Yeah, just their offensive firepower with Najee too now. Ben Roethlisberger's tough start to the season. Very tough. Like we talked about with the QB game changing, he's kind of being left in the dust. So I'm taking Steelers on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough game to call. Another coin flip. Another game I would not be putting money on. This game I would be putting money on, and I would hammer the Ravens because they upset the Chiefs, and somehow, they played the Lions. I do believe, and you can chime in while I'm talking. I've had people disagree. I think Jared Goff is better than people seem. I know he fit the Ram. He played well in the Ram system. It's kind of like Ryan Tannehill in Nashville. Played terrible in Miami. Plays good here. But I do believe in Jared Goff. I don't think the Lions, they have a terrible roster. Their receivers are all garbage. T.J. Hawkinson's good. DeAndre Swift's good. I do believe in Jared Goff. I don't think that he's as bad as people think he is. But I do have the Ravens by a lot. It is in Detroit, which shouldn't play a factor, but Lamar's just going to run all over that defense, and that's another lock.
Yeah, easily going with the Ravens on this one. I'm also not sure how the Lions managed to have just absolutely zero star power on their roster. Like, that's Swift. DeAndre Swift and T.J. Hawkinson are the only weapons that they have. No defense. Ravens, as much as I hate them and as much as I hate Lamar, they're going to blow the Lions out of the water.
I would definitely agree. I hate the Ravens too. I think we all do. That's actually a lot of good noon games. Saints, Titans, Bills, Browns, and Chiefs. Really, that's going to be, maybe you have 5 TVs up. Who knows? Who wants to donate their TV? But some lousy afternoon games except for one. One, easily the game of the week. But let's just start off with another lock. Broncos, believe in them. I think Teddy Bridgewater, he played really well with the Saints a couple years ago. Got 5-0 when Drew Brees was out. Played okay with the Panthers last year. Replacing with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold kind of fits that system better. And they play the Jets in Denver. So I know Zach Wilson is going to have he's gonna bounce. He's gonna bounce back. He's gonna play well because he's back in his environment. He's gonna have a lot of his college friends come and watch him, and that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool because he comes out west. But I mean, the Broncos are just on fire, and that defense, Patrick Surtain's playing really well. Teddy Bridgewater's playing really well. Sutton had 14 catches for 140 yards. He played really well last week, and I have the Broncos in a lock by 14 over the Jets. Zach Wilson will come back and play really well, but that Jets defense will let up and not play well.
Yeah, I agree. I had the Broncos with a lock on this one. And I think a lot of this battle is going to be QBs. Because I think Teddy Bridgewater on the Broncos, you can't talk about the Broncos without Teddy Bridgewater. I think them starting Teddy over Drew Lock was the answer.
I thought Drew Lock. I really am super high on Drew Lock, and I feel like, sorry to interrupt, but I had Drew Lock starting, and maybe like there's an injury, like a season injury to a quarterback before the trade deadline. We could see Drew Lock getting shipped off and succeeding somewhere else. Like, for example, say Matt Ryan goes down with a season-ending injury, which that's another conversation. Josh Rosen, maybe he gets another shot. But I don't know. Or just say Tannehill is a better example. Just, God forbid, just say Tannehill goes down for an injury. We see the Titans trading for Drew Lock and him succeeding here. But I think this is Teddy's team. And Drew Lock, I think, will move on and have a successful career somewhere else. But this is Teddy Bridgewater's team. Sorry to interrupt, but go right ahead.
And Jets, Zach Wilson, very tough start to the season. 5 interceptions in 2 games. I mean, the Jets just won't be able to keep up with the Broncos. Plain and simple. I got the Broncos on this one.
Do you think that the Zach Wilson will play well in that environment since he played so long at BYU?
I think,
because not many quarterbacks can play well there.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. He might see some improvement. He might be a little more, I don't know, like energized, I guess.
Yeah.
Might be a little more ready to play, game ready. But I think he'll have 1, if not 2 more interceptions in this game.
Really?
I do. I think the Broncos secondary is just too good for the Jets, and especially Zach Wilson.
I would agree. I think Zach Wilson's going to have a bounce-back game. It just won't be enough for the Broncos. Another team that's on fire, the Raiders, and they play the Dolphins, who put up a terrible performance. Jacoby Brissett starting. I think this is another lock. There's a lot of locks this week. And the Raiders easily over the Dolphins. Derek Carr leads the league in passing. He's going to continue doing that with his no receivers. Henry Ruggs is good, and Darren Waller didn't really do much last week. And he's still putting up numbers, and he's going to continue that against the Dolphins. Josh Jacobs, I think it is out, so Kenyon Drake's going to show who's boss. And Raiders by 14, again, another lock.
Yeah, I got the Raiders on this one. I don't think there's a whole lot to say about it, really. Raiders are hot right now. Dolphins, no Tua. Raiders, Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs. I mean, there's just really not a competition on this one.
You think it's how much do you have the Raiders winning by?
17.
17? Yeah. The Raiders are a lock. All right, so this is the game of the week. Absolutely mark it down. Circle this on your damn calendar. Like, this game is going to be awesome. I can't wait for this game. Man, this game is going to be awesome. Make sure you are doing stuff on Sunday. Make sure you have a window for this game. The Rams, the Bucs go to LA to play the Rams. The two best teams in the league, in my opinion. Don't like the Buccaneers. Sorry, Carson, but screw your Bucs, because you talk smack every day. But the Rams are my Super Bowl team, and the Rams are going to show it right here. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are both going to go off. Henderson's going to play, but Sony's going to have a touchdown out of the backfield. He's going to show why he got traded. Bucs, Tom Brady's going to play like he's Tom Brady. He's going to play really well. It's going to be an offensive firepower. I don't know why the hell this is not Sunday night, but because this game is incredible. I'm getting fired up, and I don't even like either team. But Stafford's going to have a great game. Kupp's going to have a great game. Woods going to have a great game. Higbee's going to have a great game. It's going to be an offense firepower. I see both teams in the 40s, just like the Rams and the Chiefs a couple years ago and the most points scored in a regular season game, a game ever in the modern era. This game is going to be awesome. Mark this down. Rams 49, Bucks 45. This game is going to be awesome. I know both defenses are really good. Aaron Donald, he's probably second best defender all time behind Lawrence Taylor. There's debate. We could think about that for a little bit. Bucks have a good defense, but they're missing Sean Murphy Bunting, so the Rams are going to take advantage of that. Brady is going to get sacked at least twice by Donald, but this game is going to be awesome. I could see this going to overtime. I'm so excited for this game.
Yeah, easily game of the week for me. Easily. And I think has the potential to be game of the year.
Possibly.
Buccaneers and Rams, I think that what sets this game apart is not only do they both have high-powered offenses, but also very high-powered defenses. I think 1 and 2 in the league, probably. And so Tom Brady, he's Tom Brady. He's going to do what he does best. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
Well said.
They're going to be going. They're going to be gunning. Both offenses are going to be going. They're both going to be moving at the highest pace possible. Very high-scoring game. Rams, same kind of thing on the other side of the story. Matthew Stafford, really, really good pickup for the Rams in the offseason. I think he is what will bring this Rams team above and beyond, possibly to the Super Bowl. Woods and Kupp, same story as Evans and Godwin. They're both going to be going. I think it's a very high-scoring game. Could go either way, but I'm going to go Bucks on this one.
Interesting.
I'm going Bucks.
I love it. I love how we both get fired up about this game, and it's two teams that we could care less about. I hated the old Rams because they screwed over the Saints and made it to the Super Bowl, but that whole roster's kind of changed, and I love Matthew Stafford. We can have that conversation. I think he's the most underrated quarterback of all time. At least right now in the past decade or two, he's played on a terrible Lions team. The only weapon he ever had was Calvin Johnson, and he took that team to the playoffs. 0-3 in the playoffs, but he still took the Lions to the playoffs. Like, who can say that? And the Rams with Matthew Stafford, he's a Hall of Famer right now, in my opinion. And it's going to be two Hall of Fame quarterbacks going at it, shooting at the stars. Tom Brady looks like he's in his 20s. Matthew Stafford looks like he's in his 20s. And Matthew Stafford still has a lot more years left. But, man, I'm excited. Now we got to go to just a lousy West Coast game. Vikings-Seahawks. Both teams lost last week. It's in Minnesota. So screw it. I'm just going to go the home team. They played really well against the Cardinals last week, and the Seahawks are going to be deterred from losing to the Titans, and I feel like that slump's going to come in to this week too. And the Vikings, Kirk Cousins is going to have a good game. It's just I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to the Rams game, more so than this. So I got Vikings, I guess.
I'm going to take the Vikings on this one, too. Seahawks coming off the loss from the Titans. Let's go. It was a huge game. But Seahawks, they're going to struggle. Tyler Lockett, I think, is going to have a big game. Very hot right now. DK hasn't been doing a whole lot, honestly. But I think he'll play pretty well, too. Vikings, this one's actually kind of more of a toss-up, really. Vikings, Justin Jefferson, kind of in the same league as DK Metcalf right now. There's not really a whole lot to say about this one. I think it's kind of a toss-up. Obviously going to be watching Bucks-Rams over this one. But I'll take the Vikings.
Yeah, not much to say. Sunday Night Football, Packers at Niners. Another game of, makes you sad. All these guys not there anymore. Rodgers and the Niners really haven't had a solidified quarterback since Steve Young, but it's just it reminds me of Packers, Brett Favre at Candlestick, or just at Candlestick in general, and then now that park's torn down. But enough reminiscing. I think Packers. I do like the 49ers, but I think the Packers. They finally get in the groove. And they beat the Niners, and then after they beat the Niners, they're gonna get the ball rolling. Deebo Samuel's gonna have another great game. Ayuk's gonna fall off the map. Trade him while you still can. I'm trying to. I drafted him 4th round in 2 different leagues because I thought he was gonna pop off, and he's not. So I think he's gonna do nothing this game. Elijah Mitchell hopefully will turn the ball, get the ball rolling for him. We always have that one running back that comes out of nowhere, so hopefully that's him. But I got Packers in a close one. I will be probably watching this game. It's going to be a good one. Just a classic rivalry. Not really a rivalry, but a classic game. That game from the past. And I got Packers in a tight one, 24, 18 or something.
I think this one could be interesting. So I'm going to take the Packers on this one. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, I think that connection's going to be back this week. I think you're going to have a lot of success in that kind of passing game. I'm still very high on the 49ers, at least playing Trey Lance a little bit more than they have. Jimmy G's actually been playing all right.
2-0.
Yeah, pretty good. Honestly, really good start to the season, actually. Trey Lance, I think, should be getting some reps, though. Packers, pretty close game, actually. I'm going to call this one Packers by 7, by a touchdown.
So, I like that. I like that, too. It's going to be a good game. So, the Monday Night Football, I actually may be filming at the Bennett's house, because Nicky's going to do it next week, and he's a huge Eagles fan. So I'm either going to do it while that game is going, which would be interesting, or we'll do that Tuesday. But I'm excited for this game. It's in Dallas. Primetime in Dallas at night is always just amazing because Jerry's World is an incredible stadium. But I know Jerry Jones doesn't have anything to do with the Cowboys playing well, but I have the Cowboys winning because I feel like Arkansas could upset A&M, and Jerry Jones is going to get fired up, and the Cowboys are going to get fired up, and I could. Not saying it will happen. And primetime Cowboys against the Eagles, it's just another classic. This week is there's 2 things this week. There's locks, a lot of locks, and a lot of classic games. Saints game, Packers game, and Cowboys game, and there's gonna be 3 classic games, all at different times, so we can all watch them. But I got Cowboys over the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts finally trips over himself, and Dak has a day. Dak has a day. And Zeke also has a day, and I feel like their win against the Chargers is gonna keep the ball rolling. Their close loss against the Bucs just proved everyone wrong. I think the Cowboys, it's gonna be tight just because it's a rivalry, but man, I'm excited for this one. I think it's gonna be a great game in Jerry's World. Cowboys by 5.
I'm also taking the Cowboys on this one. I think Dak's off to a hot start to the season. CeeDee Lamb, I think he's going to have a really good season. Definitely kind of one of those receivers that's on the rise right now. Amari Cooper is Amari Cooper. He's going to do what he does best. I don't know a whole lot about the Eagles start to the season. Who watches Eagles games?
For real.
Sorry, that probably offended a lot of Eagles fans out there. But I think Jalen Hurts has had a pretty all right start to the season, from what I know. They don't have wide receivers. Their running back is Miles Sanders.
Yeah. Buns.
No, he's really bad. The wide receivers are really bad. They don't have the offense to keep up with the Cowboys. I'm actually going to take the Cowboys by 14 on this one. I don't think it's going to be close.
Alrighty. Well, man, we had some really good talks. And this has been going for an hour and 10 minutes, believe it or not. Time flies. But we had a really good conversation. I'll see you guys next week. Skeeters may join another time. Just say the Titans win 7 straight, but we had a great time here, and I really appreciate him inviting me to his house to film this, and it's gonna be a great week of football. I'm excited for college football this week and the NFL. It's gonna be great. Any last remarks?
Not really. It's been a good one. A lot of great games this week in college and NFL. But, yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, sweet. I appreciate you guys watching, guys. Thanks for 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. Should be starting making money soon. That's always a good thing. Yeah, appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Appreciate it. Peace out.
Peace.